get the show started!
Amanda Nunes recently split with her coaches and training partners at American Top Team, the gym she's called home for the past 7 years. During a recent media scrum ahead of filming for The Ultimate Fighter Season 30, the former bantamweight champion explained her decision to leave ATT and said there was no bad blood with her now former team and the split didn't necessarily stem from her loss. She said, "Actually, I always wanted to open a private spot. I never said I'm going to open a gym to compete against American Top Team. That never came out of my mouth. But I always wanted to have a little private spot for me, because even at American Top Team, I always did my things separated. I had my time to go, and I had my coaches there waiting for me to help me with my camp. It was always like that. I feel like I deserve to do what I want to do. It's nothing to do with the gym. Actually, we're still good. I can still walk in the gym and train whenever I want. I didn't close the door because nothing happened. I did it my way, but we did a lot of things together. I want to do different things. I want to go on my own. So that's why I made my decision to see, just to change a little bit. It's not bad about any of the coaches. They all did great things. We all did great things together. But at some time in your life, you want to do something different." Francis Ngannou is currently at a standoff with promotional executives over his existing contract, and boxer Jake Paul has hinted at starting a MMA fighters union. After Ngannou made an appearance on Bruce Buffer's podcast, the legendary UFC announcer didn't mince his words when discussing what he thought about leaving the UFC in favor of new pastures. No offense to other organizations, but you become irrelevant when you leave the UFC after a while. Instead of losing in the UFC, your contract is being ended in the UFC, and you fall from the octagon down into Bellator. Let's just hope everybody gets together. The former UFC light heavyweight title challenger, Anthony Johnson, who currently competes for Bellator MMA, wasn't happy with Bruce's comments and sounded off on him with the following remarks. "Bruce needs to stay off crack. How's anything irrelevant when providing food and shelter for family? Oh, by the way, I got paid way more for moving to another organization. Bruce has his guaranteed money so he can talk. Fighters have to wait and actually entertain people when they get the chance to make some money." Israel Adesanya and Robert Whittaker will collide again this weekend at UFC 271 at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. Speaking on the most recent episode of the CHAEL SONNEN show, the American gangster shared his thoughts on the matchup and gave his prediction for the fight. Here's the clip.
Robert Whittaker is way better now in comparison to what he was then, and his gains are significantly more than Israel Adesanya's. However, you have to factor in the fact that they were not even close. Those highlights you just watched, look, it's the only fight I've ever seen in my 23 years of being a fan of this sport where a guy lost twice. Adesanya knocked Robert Whittaker out twice, and he did it all in 7 minutes and 21 seconds. So, even though Whittaker is much, much better, and yes, there is a prelude that we're going to see a different fight, particularly with the new threat of a takedown. Adesanya was never worried about a takedown from Robert Whittaker because Whittaker had never even attempted one, let alone get it. But 3 fights later, he's Mr. Ground and Pound, which has been the only kryptonite we've ever seen from Adesanya. So it is a very different matchup. I just still have to lean towards the champ only because the first time they did it, it was not competitive.
Sean Strickland won via split decision over Jack Hermansson at UFC Vegas 47 last weekend, but was very critical of his performance, saying that he was fighting like a bitch. Speaking on the most recent episode of Believe You Me podcast, Michael Bisping shared his thoughts on the fight and reacted to Strickland's comments about his performance. Here's what he said.
Yeah. I mean, technically, he was very good. I mean, it was a typical Sean Strickland performance, to be honest. You know, that's the way he always fights. Always leads with the jab, looks for a right hand on occasion, and then at certain times he'll throw a few hooks. But it was a Sean Strickland performance on steroids. It was just the jab, essentially. Yes, he threw some other shots, and there was a few kicks. We're talking 5 rounds, but for 5 rounds, it was predominantly just the jab. Now, as a fan, you can be critical and you say it wasn't the most exciting fight, and certainly the atmosphere in the Apex died down as well. Because you've been there. Sometimes when there's a great fight on, the atmosphere in the Apex now with the VIP crowd and I guess it's VIPs, right, that they have in, or people that buy tickets. The atmosphere can be amazing. The atmosphere dried up. It was very, very quiet because it was a safe performance, and pressure definitely is a thing, and the pressure of the game, the pressure of the sport can, defines champs from contenders or champs from chumps, whatever you want to call it. And the mental side of it is huge. But you could argue, if we're playing devil's advocate, devil's avocado, as we say on this show, you could say that he did what he needed to do. He won a clear victory. I thought it was 49-46. There was no question that he was the winner, and he did what he had to do at the highest level against a tough opponent. Or you're right, you could sit there and say, that was bullshit, that was boring.
Derrick Lewis suffered a 3rd-round TKO loss to Ciryl Gane at UFC 265 in his hometown of Houston, Texas. Now, a few months later, Lewis opened up about the loss in an interview with TSN's Aaron Bronstetter and revealed why he felt so much pressure heading into his interim title bout against Gane. Here's the clip.
First of all, I didn't know I was co-main event, but thanks for letting me know that. I believe it's not going to happen this go around because it's not fighting on that one specific day. Because that day right there meant a lot to me in my history of my life and all the stuff I've been through. Not going into too much detail, but that day right there was very nerve-wracking and changed my life anyways, even though I didn't get the outcome that I wanted. But like I said, about 15 years ago, that day was still special to me. No, it's the day I got out of prison.
Okay, so the last event was the anniversary of when you got out of prison. Wow. So did you talk about that at all before the fight?
No.
No,
I kept it to myself because I already know I didn't want to keep talking about it because there was already a lot of pressure on myself. No, just because the worst of times to the best of times, rising all the way to the top from the bottom. That's all. We could have made a great story. It really hit me all week long anyways. Even more that day. It was too much. I was already choked up before I even walked out there. It was like too much. Way too much.
Here are the top 3 memes you guys posted on MMAmemes.com. In 3rd place is a meme posted by user Connor McTapper. 2nd place goes to Fernbird ENT. And the number 1 voted meme was posted by a user named Bend the Knee, Kiss the Ring. If you want your meme to be included in our next video, go to MMAmemes.com and create your own meme. The top 3 memes will be placed at the end of our video. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel to keep up with the latest MMA news.